Hey guys, welcome into the LIV Fantasy Football Episode Dose. Number 2. I'm holding up 4, but it's 2. All right, I'm your host, Ethan, here with my co-host and commissioner, Michael Barbieri. And we actually have our first guest this week, our boy Josh, also known as Jaybird. What's going on, Josh?
We're here. We made it.
We are here. We made it. We're live. We are live right now. All the people are watching us right now. So let's just go ahead and get into it, dude. We had our draft last night. We did an auction draft, or 2 nights ago. I apologize. Did our auction draft 2 nights ago, and I would say I fucking hated it. I gotta be quite honest. I was really hoping we had a snake draft. We did not. We had an auction draft. We voted on it. It's okay. Whatever. Shout out Matty Ice. What did you guys think?
I think it went pretty good. It was kind of a grind, but the last 5 rounds went quicker than the first round of the draft. So,
and Josh, I know you had a particular struggle with the draft. Tell me about how your draft went.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in a vet ER doing the draft, on my phone. That went really well. I look up, been sitting there maybe an hour after the draft started, and we're like 3 guys, 3 rounds down the board. So I'm like, oh great, this is gonna take till 3 a.m. But like Barb said, the last couple rounds went a little quicker. Opposite of you though, I am kind of hoping that we make this a regular draft that we do, whether it's in this league or a different league or whatever. But I'm a fan of the auction draft. I do hope next year I can actually be in the Discord.
Yeah.
But
Who knows?
It's a good time.
We may even do one in person just to extend it like an extra 3 hours longer. We might just do it in person. We'll see.
I already have one individual in this group that likes to get Airbnbs and stuff like that for drafts. So maybe we do.
He does. He really does enjoy doing that, even though it's 30 minutes away.
that is true. All right, Ethan. I'm gonna get us into this. I'm gonna ask you first. Who's your steal of the draft? Who do you think got a player for way less?
Oh, dude, absolute steal of the draft has got to be our guy Tyler Lockett. Okay, my man went for a grand total of 7 buckaroonies. Okay, I mean, you want to talk about a guy who can really deliver you wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 numbers week in and week out. It's Tyler Lockett, for being quite honest, most consistent player I think, and honestly, I would even reckon to say he's wide receiver 1 on the Seahawks. I think he outranks DK. And as you see, Colin, who I hate this week, he's the one that ended up benefiting from it the most. So,
and not much went right for Colin this draft, if we're being honest.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I have my power rankings. We'll get into those a lot later in the podcast. So it's something for the viewers to look forward to. But that is one pick that I really think that he nailed down.
Josh, what about you? Who's your underpick?
I'm gonna go with James Conner. I believe he went for $8, and it's the opportunity that he's gonna get there in Arizona this year. $8. I don't know how I passed that one up myself, but he's right there in the tier with the other running backs that went $14, $15, $16, $17. So, in my opinion, anyway, like I said, that opportunity and his past, he's had some pretty good seasons. So, if he can stay healthy, we'll see.
That was a good one.
Mine for $7. We've mentioned him before already. Matty Ice with the steal of Deontay Johnson. I mean, this man gets target after target after target. Are they anywhere near him most of the time? Probably not. But eventually, Kenny Pickett's going to figure something out when it comes to accuracy. And this man's going to start not Cooper Kupp 2 years ago numbers, but he's going to be getting 8 catches, 7 catches, 9 catches a game. And in a PPR league, I mean, 0 yards, that's still 9 points.
Yep. That was exactly what I was about to bring up. Is it's a PPR league. It's more about catching passes than it is about how long the pass is.
Now, to be fair, Matt did then take George Pickens, which you never take 2 Steelers. His Steelers offense in a fantasy. That's a bit of a risk.
I don't know. He in his mind, Deontay was a steal.
Yeah.
Still thinking about Steelers.
Matt with Deontay Johnson.
Where it is. So,
All right, and
no,
now,
I completely agree.
all right, now we're gonna start with Josh on this one. Josh, who's
Let's
your
do it.
overpaid? Who's your overpay of the draft?
So my overpay might have a little different strategy behind it than the rest of y'all. My overpay is actually Pat Mahomes.
Oh no, we're losing.
no. What happened?
$100 because $200 and nearly of your money right away on a quarterback when you need 2 running backs and normally in a PPR league you want 3 wide receivers starting. So yeah, 25% of your money right away on a quarterback just doesn't quite seem to add up to me.
Yeah. So it seems
It's
like you're
no
kind
knock
of
against Mahomes. We know what Mahomes is, but
a yin yang on our guy John there to praise him for the steal of the draft, and then also to ram him in on Patrick Mahomes.
he might have had a plan.
He might, and mine is maybe controversial here, guys, but $8 for Justin Tucker was just a little bit too much of an overpay for me.
Hey, but now hold on. If we're gonna be fair to Aaron, Matt really wanted him, and Matt was gonna be willing to pay 7, so Aaron immediately just bid up to 8.
Yeah, exactly. Matt really did want him. However, going for 4 times what any other kicker won in the draft. I mean, Justin Tucker didn't even finish first out of kickers last year. Daniel Carlson was the #1 fantasy kicker. So I just don't know. I mean, I know he is Justin Tucker, but $8. I mean, I could have maybe accepted 4, but that's just too much for me. And he's a kicker.
We'll see what happens. Maybe he has the greatest positional advantage in kicker history right there.
All right. What about you? Who's your overpay?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna go with myself getting Breece Hall at $23. I think that was absolutely stupid pick on my part. Okay. Problem was I tried driving up the price, knowing full well that my boy Dalvin Cook went to the Jets. And that was just a mistake. I mean, this guy should have went for maybe $14, $15. I ended up getting him 23. Just a genius move by a genius person. So, and Bart, speaking of overpaying for players, another thing you don't want to overpay for is subscription. I mean, think about it. You got Netflix now, you got Disney Plus, you got Hulu Max, you got all these freaking streaming services going around everywhere. You can't even keep track of them anymore. Thankfully, we are sponsored today by our friends at Rocket Money. Okay, you know what Rocket Money does, Barb?
No, what does it do?
They keep track of your subscriptions, let you know about them, and make it effortless to cancel if you don't want to do it anymore. Netflix has gone all the way up to $20, and thankfully, Rocket Money notified me. I canceled that right away. Okay, cut it off, and it's all thanks to Rocket Money. Okay, and speaking of their slogan, one of the greatest things in the world, their mission is to empower people to live their best financial lives so that they can take their savings to the moon. Rocket Money, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell, I have myself pretty high. But you
gotta love the honesty. You gotta love the honesty of a man willing to say he fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
but
I did.
So Josh, I'm gonna start with you because I feel like me and Ethan might have the same answer on this one. Who did a lot better than you expected for the draft? Maybe someone you thought was kind of gonna shit the bed, but actually put up a pretty decent team.
So, person I think did better than expected is Matt, and everybody knows Matt's knowledge in football, but I expected him to be on a scale with the alcohol that would not approve of an auction draft, and he put together a pretty good squad. So, kind of impressed by that.
I think the resident alcoholic of the chat, managed to stay sober enough to have a good draft, according to Josh.
I'll be quite honest. He showed 2 cases on the picture. I would like to have seen a picture of the aftermath. I don't think he had more than 3, if I'm being quite honest. I
think he drank 2 cases and drafted that team. Hey, I'm proud of him. Absolutely.
So, Ethan, I feel like we're going to have the same answer, so I'll let you go first here. Who did better than you thought they would?
No, just plain and simple as Adam. but that's probably because we kind of egged him on last week. I put him dead last in power rankings. I said he doesn't know football, and I said that he probably won't even care to look into the auction draft. And sure enough, proved me wrong. So, and that'll show up later on. But yeah, I mean, you can see a little bit of his team kind of over here. You know, he's got Nick Chubb, got Najee Harris, Deshaun Watson. I mean, you name it, man. He really did kind of put together a good team, especially in the starting line.
And I mean, you look at his bench spot right there, first one. You see Michael Pittman. That's a number one. You know, yeah, it is Anthony Richardson's number one, but nevertheless a number one.
It is a number one receiver. So
yeah. And now, Josh, who do you think didn't do it? Who do you expect to do a lot better in this draft? Let you down.
So it's my person here is Ethan. And I don't know. I just expected the whole build up for a year of the league and everything. I know we weren't set on an auction necessarily, but we settled on an auction in enough time that I figured Ethan would have his ducks in a row. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The majority of his money went to what? Kelsey, Breece Hall, and Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of risk there. It could pay off. But it would all have to line up together. It would all have to come together at the same time. And that just seems like a lot of risk at the same time.
For those at home who couldn't do that math, that's $102 Ethan invested into those three.
That is over half. And Josh?
I'm a money kind of guy. And, yeah.
I completely agree with you. That was also the person who I had do the worst in this draft. It was myself. It was so bad. Just comically bad. You know what? Just don't let me make the playoffs. If I make the playoffs, you guys are going to be surprised.
Now, to be fair to you, Travis Kelce apparently still might play tonight. Has not been ruled out yet by the Chiefs, even though he suffered an injury that everyone thought would keep him out 2 to 3 weeks minimum. Meanwhile, you have Cooper Kupp, who's been ruled out already for a Sunday game, which leads me into my disappointment, David.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Ethan had David 10 in his power rankings. I thought David was going to be in the top half of our league. I'm going to be honest. But, you know, it really all let you know during the Discord when after he got Cooper Kupp, you know, you could see it on his face. He did not want that. He was trying to drive up the value of him.
He got shook after that, too.
And it backfired. He lost a lot of money that he wanted in other players. He was getting outbid left and right for people he actually wanted. And even at the end, I asked him about his team. And I said, David, your team's not looking that good. And he responded, yeah, Bart, I agree. So, you know, when like Ethan, if someone's just saying flat out in the open, they have no confidence in the team, you know.
Yeah, it becomes pretty obvious who bad and good teams are pretty quick.
So, you know, after the draft, you know, you had your pre-draft power rankings, Ethan. I assume there's been a lot of a mix-up. So let's get into it. Who do you now have as the worst person in our league?
You want to get into that now? We can, yeah. We can go ahead and get into that. I just gotta pull this up. Made a list. A whole list. You guys can't see it because of the screen, but
those are a lot of notes.
All right, so we're just going to start on the back end. One should be pretty obvious, but it's team Chase is a bird, also known as Aaron.
Deadline.
I mean, this is what I wrote down. I said I knew it was going to be a bad draft for him the moment he spent $8 on the kicker. I think we can all agree with that. And his reasoning didn't help either. Because Matt wanted him. Probably not a good reason to drop $8 on a kicker. He really only has 2 bright spots on his team, which might help him out a little bit in the power rankings in the weeks to come, and that is Tyreek Hill and Justin Fields. Those are the only 2 people I see on his team who could have a significant impact on the rest of the season. But outside of that, I just don't.
I mean, he's got Terry McLaurin, who was a top 15 receiver in fantasy last year at the flex. You know, I think you're underlooking Terry McLaurin just a little bit. Dameon Pierce, you know, I know he's on the Texans, but that is, you know, former Gator, gotta love the man. But I think he could surprise you, Ethan. I think he could do a lot better than you're expecting out of Dameon Pierce.
He could. He very well could, but I haven't done that.
Now, I do agree with you. Miles Sanders, I'm not liking it all. I wouldn't have even flexed that, man. And DJ Moore, I might like Justin Fields because of his running ability, but when you like the quarterback because he can run the ball, that's not a good look when you draft the receiver on the team.
Yeah. Like I said, he's got 2 bright spots: Tyreek Hill and Justin Fields.
Josh, do you agree? Do you agree with Aaron at 12, or you got someone else maybe?
So I agree that he's in the bottom, the bottom portion of it. Sorry about this again, Ethan, but I do have Aaron above you, and above Colin actually. So,
So who do you have at 12 then, Josh? You have Ethan or Colin?
So I have Ethan at 12.
Ooh.
I have Ethan at 12. Then I have Colin at 11, and Aaron's at 10.
All right, so let's have you explain your number 12. So why do you have Ethan below Colin? The 3 quarterback system, Colin, and Justin Tucker for the win at 10.
His team is a little bit more balanced. I would say. I know there's 3 quarterbacks, but when I say balance, I'm comparing it to the odds of Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, and Travis Kelce all staying healthy and all playing throughout the year. I see the distribution in Colin's money and his depth that gives him the edge just a little bit. And I do also agree with you, Barb, about McLaurin and Pierce. I feel like that'll give Aaron just a little bit of a bump to not be on the dead bottom.
Now, the thing about Pierce is Josh does have him in Matt's league, which is almost a guarantee for an ACL tear for the man. So he's got to hope to avoid the Josh running back curse.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens on that one.
All right. So, Josh, we already know who you have at 11. We know you got Colin. Ethan, who do you have at 11?
I've got the Pittsburgh Feelers. I got David at 11. I think his only good player is CeeDee Lamb, and unless Cooper Kupp comes back sooner rather than later, I don't see any other bright spot on his team, if I'm being quite honest. I think that Cooper Kupp player payment that he made kind of ruined his draft. I still think he'll do better than Aaron, but I just don't like it.
So, question to you: as a Vikings fan, you're not feeling Alexander Madison?
I'm not. No, I don't know if he's going to actually be the star that Dalvin Cook was, or like put up the same numbers. I wish I could say that, but I don't think I've really seen anything out of him to prove that to me.
And Josh, obviously as a Saints fan, even really not seeing Olave as a value pick. I kind of like Olave.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing what he did as a rookie, with a interesting group of quarterbacks, to say the least. Going to Derek Carr, going into a second year with the same coach. I don't know. That he's got some skills that might just translate this year.
We'll see. I'm used to being wrong.
Now, Josh, at number 10, you have Aaron, and understandable. I feel Aaron, Colin, and Ethan are probably going to be in the bottom, probably out of the playoffs in most people's power rankings. But Ethan, who's your number 10? Do you have Colin?
I have team Chase is gay. I got Joe 10.
You got Joe.
I got Joe at 10. Might be a little biased there, but I think his starting lineup is decent, and in a PPR league, you do want depth at receiver, which he has. But he hated the auction draft, and I think it really shows with the rest of his team. Be quite honest.
Joe was constantly
have
fuck during the draft. It made probably the most common word out of Joe's mouth.
So, I mean, we're just hoping next time he doesn't listen to Matt and Chase's advice to do an auction draft.
We do hope.
We'll see.
Now, Josh, why don't you go into a little more detail about why you have Aaron at 10?
Do you want me to go in detail on why he's above Ethan and Colin, or do you want me to go in detail?
So why do you have Aaron a little bit higher?
because of McLaurin and Pierce.
Yeah. So
like I say, he's got I would say 4 or 5 guys that can perform for him. So that's the only thing keeping him out of the dead bottom. That and Ethan and college auction decisions.
Okay, and now Josh, we're gonna start with you. Number 9. Who's your number 9?
I have David at number 9.
David at number 9.
Yeah, he got people he didn't want for a lot of money. So that really puts you at a disadvantage when you only have the exact same amount of money as everybody else.
Yep.
That is for Ethan. Who is your last person missed the playoffs?
I got team pause 5, 6, 7. I got Colin. It's rivalry week. I can't put him ahead of me. You guys know that. Come on. I'm just not allowed. But yeah, I mean, he started off the draft pretty hot, being quite honest, and then it just got to a point where he was just completely over it. I mean, I think about halfway through, he was like, "Can I just get these people so I could get out of here?" And it kind of shows when you have three quarterbacks and 2 tight ends, and I believe he only has 3 receivers. I'd have to double check on
You got
that.
5 actually.
It was 3 running backs. That's the problem with me. Is 3 running backs, and one of them is the backup to his current running back, which means he literally does not have a running back available.
That is true. Yeah, Bijan and Tyler Algier will have the same bye week. Shockingly enough, as they both play for the same team.
Yeah. So and then he's going to have to start them both when Travis Etienne's out. So I mean, he's really hoping that this Atlanta backfield is going to put up some numbers.
Hey, but who from his 3 quarterbacks, I feel he got a good one, at least in Burrow. He got 3 of them. Burrow's a solid one. Anthony Richardson, just if you got points per pick, he'd be the top quarterback in the league. Unfortunately, you don't.
Could have picked him up on the waiver wire about any week you wanted him.
That is also fair. Now, into the playoff teams. Ethan, who's your 8?
Myself. Auction draft Travis T. That's me. I named myself that because I did terrible, but I'm also biased. I'm a human. Okay. I'm gonna put myself in the playoffs. Okay. That's just what I'm gonna do. All right. I drafted players that are injured. However, I think if they can get back to healthy, which that's really what this team is banking on, then I strongly think that I can make the playoffs and make a pretty decent run out.
So, do you think a potential 0-4 start, would, before even Jonathan Taylor has the potential of returning, would that kind of put a damper on your hopes?
For
or
sure.
do you expect him to start like 0-4, 1-3, perhaps?
I've been looking at it. I think best case for me is 2-2. And I think this week is almost a must win. If there's anybody that I can beat in the first 4 weeks that I have the best chance at, it is this week. So if I don't get a win this week, there's a very strong chance of going 0-4. And that would be a detrimental loss for me personally, and it'd be really tough to make the playoffs after that.
Okay, all valid points. Josh, how about you? Who's your 8?
So my 8, I have John. Now, if you could run down his team real quick, I can't switch over to my notes.
I got you.
I'll be able to give you my in-depth.
So he's got Patrick Mahomes quarterback. He's got James Conner, Joe Mixon, Diggs, Waddle. He's got Higbee. And then he's got, is that Jameson Williams as a flex? I'm sure that'll change, but that's just what he drafted as. But yeah, very strong starting lineup.
That was my thing with him is he has a pretty strong lineup. As I mentioned earlier, I love Connor for the value, but it still does come with the risk of being on a really piss poor team from top to bottom. He could come up big for him. I don't really love Mixon. I know he had a better put together season last year, but overall, I've just never really been a big fan of Mixon. I said he has a strong team. But I also don't really see somebody on his team that's going to fill in the flex consistently.
Yeah.
He could lose out on some points at that point. So
Yeah.
He's only going to be there for about 3 weeks, and then after that, Kamara, everyone's going to expect Kamara to just take back over the starting role. Maybe not as much. Jamal Williams might be there to, help with some workload for Kamara, keep him from having to be run as much, keep him more in the passing game. But how valuable is that? And you look at Josh, you look at John's team, and I understand a number 8. He, for as good as his lineup is, he's just got no depth whatsoever. His bench might be one of the worst benches in the league.
Well, there's nothing there.
But the flip side to that is, he's got Mahomes, Diggs, Waddle. Those guys by themselves might be enough to just win games not during their bye week to get him into the playoffs. And by then, I don't think there's any bye weeks left.
See, though, as you said with bye weeks, Mahomes is on a bye week, week 10, so is Waddle. So Mahomes and Waddle having to be filled in, that's almost a guaranteed loss for John at that point.
Yeah. So he has to stack wins where bye weeks don't hurt. If he doesn't do that.
Now, looking over his team, not many bye weeks stack besides that. They all seem to kind of be individual, or maybe a bye week with the kicker or defense, not really matter. But John's you might as well pencil John in for 0-1 week 10. Which I'm not too familiar with the schedule, even though I painstakingly made it 2 nights ago.
He's playing Adam week 1. And Adam's actually got a pretty low projection despite what I think his team is. So, and speaking of, if we're going to talk about the 7th position, that just feeds right into it. That's where I've got Adam. I've got Adam at the 7th position.
Speaking of actually, John, week 10, this was actually all planned by me, completely rigged by the commission.
Rigged commission confirmed here on the pod, boys. But yeah, I put Adam. It was we read it. Josh, I know you read it before you even got on here. So, but yeah, I got Adam here at number 7. Again, Barb, you and I both agree that he surprised us during this draft.
He really surprised us.
He has a lot of backup running backs, but problem is PPR league, and I'm looking at his receivers, and I don't think he has really any depth. So, when one of his receivers goes out or potentially has an injury, yikes. He's going to have to hope that there's somebody that pops up on the waiver wire.
He's got Pittman on the bench. He's also got Tyler Boyd, probably the best number 3 receiver in all of the league.
You got him for $1, I believe.
Got him, yeah, exactly. Got him for $1. And you want to talk about, that could have potentially been the steal of the draft. If maybe someone like T. Higgins or Jamar Chase goes down, that man can fill in at the 2 spot.
Yeah, but only having 2 extra receivers, right? If you decide to flex one week, you only have the 1 back.
Yeah, that is fair. Now he does have he does have both Dolphins running backs. He's got Mustard and he's got the rookie from A&M. So he does technically, at least on the bench, have a 4th starting running back.
That's if Jeff Wilson doesn't come back and take it over.
I don't know. I'm looking at Adam's team right now. Running backs, Nick Chubb, love him. Najee, it's
could still go either way.
It could go either way. He'll never pop off. You're never going to get a 25 plus from Najee. That's the thing with that. But he'll give you a consistent over 10. T. Higgins, obviously, Bengals receivers pop off left and right. I think that's for $22 as well. That's a solid pickup. Ridley, he did just miss a whole year. And they did have Christian Kirk, who was, again, a top 12 receiver last year. So, how much is Calvin Ridley going to take away from that? Having another great receiver, for some teams aren't that good at managing getting the fantasy points. The Bengals are really good at it. The Seahawks, weirdly enough, are good at also getting their receivers. But, the Jaguars have never really had to do that in terms of having 2 pretty good receivers. So, I wonder how they're going to manage that. Will one of them fall off?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Josh, who do you have at 7?
I have Adam at 7 as well.
Oh, let's go!
Yep,
Finally
yep, yep.
agree.
That might be the only one that we have. But yeah, I've had him at 7, and I pretty much agree with what y'all are saying. Chubb is awesome. Calvin Ridley, the thing with him for me is I believe he's extremely talented, and what could really help him out there is him going there and Trevor Lawrence having one more year of experience could also boost up Trevor Lawrence, which could produce more total numbers for the Jaguars offense as far as fantasy points are concerned. So Kirk might still get his, and Ridley might still be able to get what he needs.
Yeah.
Now, boys, I've just got breaking news from my brother walking in my room. Apparently, Travis Kelce has been ruled out for the game tonight.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well,
Ethan.
This week just got a lot more difficult.
So who you throwing in a tight end spot here? What you got?
Oh, is he lying? Is he just
my brother said Bleacher Report ruled him out.
What time's the game start?
8.
I'll check it later. Speaking of, we're about halfway through the power rank. Oh, what's going on? No, I'm not answering. Well, anyways, we're about halfway through the power rankings, so we're just going to take a quick break here. We'll get back into it in a little bit. All right. So number 6 now.
Yeah.
Power rankings number 6.
So Ethan, who you got?
I got team Matt Mont G12. Got Matt there. Another fantastic starting lineup here. Let me pull that up for you guys really quick. I mean, we got Jamar Chase, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Deontay Johnson, Kyle Pitts. And
I'll stop you right there. You can't say fantastic starting lineup with Kyle Pitts.
And that's just kind of where it stops, okay? Because this guy has 0 bench. I mean, we're talking about his starting second running back as Isaiah Pacheco. That's his starting
is
second.
Lacking running backs hard. And to be honest, he's got George Pickens at the flex now, and that's a second Steeler receiver. I don't know if they pass the ball enough to actually make it worthwhile to play 2 Steelers.
Yeah, but I mean, again, he has Josh Allen, he has Jamar Chase, and he has Saquon Barkley. Those are 3 big fantasy names there. Yeah, I mean, you got to think that those guys can carry some weight and at least get him out of playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, that's a top 5 receiver. That's a top 3 quarterback. That's a top 5 running back. That's incredible top heavy team. And he's even got Deontay Johnson in there. Personally, my underpay of the draft. I really like that pick. Now, yeah, I do agree with you, Matt, a little bit. I shouldn't say a little. One of the weakest running backs, if not the weakest running back room in the draft.
And that's why I have him down at 6 right now. Still top half of the league. But I mean, if any of those guys get injured that we mentioned, season could just go in the tank right away.
Now, Josh, what about you? Who do you have at 6?
So, Barb, I have you at 6.
The top heavy team.
So obviously I have you at 6. So you clearly have a decent team. You're very top heavy, and I obviously I love Eckler, McCaffrey, and Hurts. That's your top 3. But I don't know, something about having that much of your money up top where a 31-year-old Eckler.
I think he's 28.
Could have an issue. McCaffrey's had his share of issues in the past, and a Shanahan ran offense normally is not that great for fantasy running backs, but McCaffrey is different than all the other running backs that have been put into that group, which has made it the Shanahan running back. I could see it working out for you extremely well. I also could see it biting you in the ass.
Well, now hold on, because
don't
he
really
did
see
get
much
the
depth,
backup running back,
and that's kind of where yeah, but that really doesn't work out either. There's been last 2 or 3 years you've been before they got McCaffrey, we've been trying to figure out who the running back for San Francisco is. You would pick up Elijah Mitchell, and then he would go down, or they just wouldn't play him at all. you would pick up Fred Wilson, and he may do good for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden Elijah Mitchell's back. So if McCaffrey goes down, then I really don't want any part of that backfield. But like I said, if McCaffrey, Eckler, and Hurts stay healthy the whole year, you'll have a really good season. It's just that lack of depth is gonna hurt.
So you have just no faith in Christian Watson in the Packer offense.
Not enough to put him in the top 5.
You gotta look at Barb's team, and at this point, like his entire receiving core is really just built around, besides Gabe Davis, who's a number 1 receivers on shitty teams. Barb going with the approach of, on bad teams, they're going to be trailing a lot. And you know what happens when you're losing? You're throwing the ball a lot. And one of these guys is bound to have good games. And, that it's really going to be his hope of a healthy running back core.
Question. Did you just say that the Packers and Bears are bad teams?
Yeah, the Bears are a bad team. Not as bad as the Vikings.
Well, okay. Get out of here. You don't have a single Vikings player on your team. Must mean they're good. Must mean they're good. That's all I'm saying.
Do I have I don't have a Viking on my team.
So, yeah. I mean, thank you for confirming the Vikings are good. I appreciate it.
The Vikings are good at being bad. I'll confirm that. But
just a little confused about how you're going to have 3 receivers at all. I'm saying, Barb.
Yeah, look, it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be
tricky. A little tricky.
Look, it's going to be tricky, but look, I obviously, that's the way I drafted. That was my approach. I threw everyone off saying I was going to nominate shit play. No, I went hard immediately. Tried to keep people off. Now, into your top 5s, Josh.
Yeah, let's have Josh go first in number 5 here.
So at 5, I have Big Matt.
You got Big
Matt.
Close,
nice.
Pretty close, you two.
That's the Allen, Barkley, Chase, Johnson team with Kyle Pitts as well. You got him up there pretty good.
Yeah, so he's got some players I would say are very reliable in fantasy, a few of them, and then he's got some wild cards, but I feel like he might have played his sides of the wild cards good enough in this draft.
Yeah. I've actually got John at 5. Team Stevenson, John 4. I got him at number 5. I think his starting lineup is very good. It's just really tragic that if anybody goes down, he's screwed. Bye weeks are really going to hurt. I mean, we talked about this when Josh put him. I believe you had him at 7, correct?
Yeah, I put him at 8.
Or no, 8. That's right. Yeah, bye weeks are going to be
for those reasons.
So stacking these wins are going to be important, but I think he can do it. That's why.
How do you feel that after week 3, his flex position might just completely disappear?
Look, this is why we have the week 1 power rankings. Okay, they're going to change week to week. Okay, it's just right now I got him at 5. Okay, so we just got to roll it. And who knows? Maybe when Kamara comes back, he doesn't get the starting job fully back in the first couple weeks, but we'll see what happens. Josh probably knows more.
That's fair. Now, yeah, Josh, obviously, the avid Saints fan.
And speaking of Josh, number 4, dude, that's where you ended up on my list. I got you at number 4. And honestly, if we were basing it off of situational draft, I'd put you up at number 1. I mean, dealing with a sick dog, being in the vet ER, and then just grinding through an auction draft and still getting what I would consider one of the best receiving cores in the league. Granted, a little bias there, Justin Jefferson, but I mean, when I was looking at it, I'll pull it back up here in a second, but you have Justin Jefferson, Keenan Allen, Michael Thomas as a solid flex. I mean, you also have Brandon Cooks, who has very high ceiling. And Brandon Ayuk, who could end up being their next guy.
Jordan Addison as well.
And Jordan Addison, rookie, we have no idea what he's capable of, but he could probably start popping off. Probably might be Vikings wide receiver 2. And
what that means
if Justin Jefferson goes down too.
Now, you know what the number 2 on Minnesota does?
Oh yeah,
I've seen that for years. So
yeah.
Now I will say this: you're looking at Josh's running backs, and obviously he's got Kamara, he's got Tony Pollard. With Zeke gone, he's bound to be a top 10 running back.
Yeah.
He's got Kamara, so out 3 weeks.
I didn't even mention the
unfortunately.
running backs, by the way. I mean, I was just talking about the receiving.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say if anything's gonna let Josh down, it's gonna be the running back situation. If Kamara maybe doesn't win back the starting job or doesn't get as much usage, that could hurt. He's also got on the bench Khalil Herbert. The Bears offense in general, if your name's not Justin Fields, you pretty much don't matter.
Yeah.
And the other problem is Javonte Williams. Now, we saw flashes of him in the first couple weeks for Denver last year. An unfortunate injury. Tore almost everything he could tear in his leg.
Got it out of the way.
Gonna be on a snap count. I don't think Denver wants to rush him into it. So they got him on a snap count for a bit. So, how valuable will he be in the early stages of the season? I don't really think he's going to have much value. Maybe a flex play here or there. But besides that, I think he's going to be sitting right there on that bench for you for most of the year. But so if anything, Josh maybe package some wide receivers, get a decent running back, number 2. And you're looking at arguably one of the most complete teams if he can just sort out that second running back.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he's got the receivers to trade to be able to do that. And I mean, in a PPR league, if one receiver can have a really good week, especially on his bench in the next couple of weeks, I could easily see him getting a running back 2 for little to nothing. Right.
Yeah, now, Josh, what do you think about Josh's running back situation?
So my thing is, I got Pollard, right? I got him as my workhorse. He's going to be my number 1. He's going to carry the running backs, right? This is a PPR league, so as far as your main position goes in a PPR league, your number 2 running back. If you're gonna have a question anywhere in your lineup, you want it to be your number 2 running back. And I have 3 running backs who are going to be the starters on their team because, hate to tell you, Barb, but the levels and talent difference between Kamara and Williams just isn't going to allow Williams to completely take Kamara's spot no matter what's going on. So unless Kamara and Javonte Williams get hurt and I have to rely on Khalil Herbert, I feel like the RB2 spot will be okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that makes complete sense. I mean, like we said, Josh was going to have the insight on the Saints running backs, and it shows in the draft as well.
That is true. All right. Well, now we're into the top 4, boys. Josh, who do you got?
Well, really quick, Josh, did you also have yourself at 4?
No, at 4, I have Joe.
You got Joe.
Wow. That's a big difference between you and I.
That is a massive disagreement between you.
So, I mean, I think we kind of touched on it, but I think you love basically his entire team and the fact that he's got great backups as well. I mean, we're talking Mike Evans, Mike Williams, Alan Lazard, all on the bench, by the way. Those are just bench players. We also have Devontae Adams, Deebo Samuel, Cam Akers as a flex, Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, and Aaron Rodgers as quarterback.
So I feel like his flex is actually going to become probably Mike Williams.
Yeah.
If he has to play Cam Akers, then he won't be up where I have him.
Yeah, I mean, that's just because, this is probably just the way that you drafted.
Yeah.
Here. Sorry, it's like inverted.
And I'll be honest, Cam Akers as, a 3rd running back for a team. That's
right. Right. That's that.
Now, I never thought I'd say this about a football team, but Joe's weakness potentially could be Aaron Rodgers.
Could be.
In fantasy, could be.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers long past his prime for fantasy. So that might be the thing that costs Joe. He just might get outdueled by someone with a Patrick Mahomes, a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrow, a Jalen Hurts.
Geno Smith.
There it is.
I mean, even Geno Smith, top 5 quarterback last year in fantasy.
I still don't like you got him for $10. I still agree that my Breece Hall $23 was atrocious, much more atrocious than the Geno Smith one. So
I was waiting.
I still didn't like.
Number 3.
We've now officially cracked the top 3 now. We're down to 3 people. And those 3 people are probably very excited to hear their names called last.
And you guys have a differing ones at least. I haven't heard 2 names, but I know at least one of your top 3 is going to be different. Ethan, I haven't heard my name from you, but I've heard my name from Josh. So
you have. I've got team Chase Nugent 31 at Nugent. My bad. I butchered his last name, but he doesn't care. He doesn't even watch the podcast. I got Chase at number 3. Again, another another really balanced team that I think, in my opinion. I mean, he's got Josh Jacobs, Ramondre Stevenson at running back. He's got A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, Ezekiel Elliott as a backup in case Ramondre goes down. He's also got Rashad White, which I think is honestly could be a fantastic running back for this year. Lamar Jackson at quarterback, TJ Hawkinson at tight end. I mean, I don't think he really has a bad spot in his lineup, in my opinion. And he's also got Christian Kirk that he could easily put in flex, or Rashad White. I mean, like, he's got flex options.
Now, the one thing with Chase is, will Jacoby Myers throw away his season like he did for New England last year?
That is true. That is true. You got to watch out for that. And we're talking about Chase here. You can't put him at 1 or 2. Okay, he will always choke it away every year.
Chase is the equivalent of the Vikings and Bills in fantasy football. He can get there. He can't. Something always happens. A Mike Evans 40s dropped on his head in a championship. Something just does not
dodge that stray shot that happened.
Yeah, it's true. Chase knows it as well. It's a hump that his team has yet to be able to get over. And, it kind of seems like maybe it's a mental thing. He gets to the championship, can't handle the pressure, makes a bad decision, cost him.
Yep. Just like that Hunter Henry catch cost the Patriots the game against the Vikings. Could happen.
Now, Josh, who's your number 3?
So my number 3 is humbly myself.
There you go. There you go. I mean, we were close.
Now, can I honestly say I don't think I have the best team? Probably not. But I also can't put myself at 1 or 2 on a list that I'm making. I just can't do that. So, I got to stay humble a little bit. I have a really good team, so I'm gonna stick with that. I have a lot of number ones. I got some players on some really good offenses, and I feel like I'll do pretty well. And I'm probably due for an injury, so that also helps hold me in that 3 spot.
Yep.
So yeah,
True.
I will say, even though I'm a Saints fan, I overpaid for Michael Thomas. That was the only part of my draft plan that kind of got away from me. But at the time, I was trying to hold a pretty wild dog down, trying to squirt some medicine in the back of her throat with a syringe. So, is what it is.
Again, draft situation, based on your team, if we had to factor in draft situation as well, you'd be number 1.
Exactly. And look at Josh right there. Not afraid to just throw Ember right under the bus. Potentially.
Yeah. Why did you say that you couldn't put yourself 1? Did that come from anything recent that you heard?
No, I just I'm making a list. I'm trying to be fair, and give some other people some praise, and watch them fail.
Now,
there you go.
Now I'm a bit interested. I still haven't heard this man's name called by either of you. So, is he going to be number 1 or number 2 for you, Josh? We'll start off with you. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Chase.
Okay. There it is. There it is.
Top 3 both. Both of you value Chase very high.
Chase has a really good team. If he didn't sneak in though and get Zeke for $2 or $3, I'd probably want a couple more, because I don't know that $30 for Ramondre Stevenson, but that's the only even thing that I have to say about Chase's team. And he went out and snagged Zeke. So
yeah, so, I mean, he's got that backup there.
Yeah, exactly. Jerick McKinnon, $2. That's valuable. He was a great asset toward the end of last year for fantasy.
Could catch a lot of passes.
Christian Kirk as well. I mean, again, another top 15 receiver chilling on his bench. Rashad White's, for Tampa, that could be a nice deal. Jacoby Myers, not the number 1, obviously, like technically would have been in New England, but number 2 receiver on the Raiders. You're bound to think they're going to be losing a lot.
Just not a dark spot on his team, really.
And then Chase Ken, Demario Douglas. I'm gonna be real. Now, totally homer pick by Chase. Dude, probably gonna be shit. Won't even matter in fantasy. But he's repping his team. Unlike some people in the league, not drafting players from their team. So you gotta respect him for that. Ethan, do you have me at number 2?
I don't actually. I've got Doug. I've got Doug at number 2.
Doug. Now,
honestly, the only reason that I have Doug at number 2 and not number 1 is because I don't think he has like a round 1 guy. He has a lot. Don't get me wrong. He has a lot of talent, like tier 2, tier 3 guys. I do not see a tier 1 guy. And that I think might be a problem. Because like he did go with the approach of like just having an all-around great team. Like it doesn't matter what week it is, he's going to put up a good amount of points just because of who he has on his team. There's not a week this year that's going to be bad for him. But I also just don't see a week where he has a player go off for like more than 40 points. I don't see it anywhere. If I'm being quite honest.
The only week, honestly, that might maybe be bad for Doug is week 10. Both his Eagles starters, Goddard and Devontae, will be out.
Yeah.
So maybe, but yeah.
Also, shout out Josh, by the way. I know he wanted me to say this. Shout out to you for getting Geno Smith off of his team because he would have not had a quarterback for, I believe it was week 13. I'm going to confirm that really quick.
Herbert is
week 5.
Week
5.
Now, like I think everyone thought the takeaway from the draft was Doug's going to be up there. Doug's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
now, like you said, solid team. Maybe no standout like a Jefferson or a McCaffrey, but I mean,
but he's going to put up at least 110, 115 a week.
This and arguably a bench with not even bad. James Cook, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood Brown, #1 receiver on a bad.
He got a lot of
AJ Dillon, AJ Dillon's there in case Aaron Jones. That's just the back and forth. Which one you need? Rashad Bateman, Baltimore receivers, not really sure about him, but and then a maybe sneaky pick, depending on how Dawson Knox is, a Dalton Kincaid potentially taking a lot of snaps for Buffaloes.
Yeah.
Yep,
and,
that is true.
Though, I will say one thing I'm going to hate on Doug for, as an Eagles fan, he took Dak Prescott. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that, Josh. It just.
Yeah, I feel like if you're going to go with someone like Dak Prescott, there's a lot of other safer options for you to get a Dak Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't like Doug for bidding me up on Geno Smith, but other than that, I like it.
Now, obviously, Josh, we'll start with you. We clearly now know that you do have Doug as your #1. You have Doug as your Super Bowl favorite.
Yep.
Well, he's in my post-draft power rankings.
Yeah, as
they change week to week. You can't say the Super Bowl contender week 1. Okay,
yeah, but I'm just saying, as of now, he's your #1. Like, if you had to pick someone who you'd say, it'd be Doug.
He's on there.
Yeah. Now,
my #1 is.
I'm going to be honest. Josh had me down at, I believe, #6, and
6.
Ethan got me up at 1.
Dead in the middle. You're either do or do.
Yeah. So
the
Josh,
only reason I have you at 1 is because I think that your top 3 are going to be able to put up, like, they have the potential to put up 40-point games individually each. And that's just 120 by themselves.
Yeah.
Right? So if they stay healthy and you survive the bye weeks, it's going to be a very difficult team to beat. And that's why I have you at #1, is because of how difficult that team will be to beat if they, #1, stay healthy, which they currently are. And 2, you just make the playoffs, have a solid team, don't have to worry about injuries. I mean, it's just, again, really good team.
And I mean, Barb's pretty much banking on those 3. And not only that, he's kind of hoping 1 or 2 of the receivers he's picked up, will just at least drop anywhere from 12 to 15.
And I think all of your top 3 players have very high floors. I don't think any of them are scoring less than 15, even 20 points most weeks.
I mean, the Chargers offense has been known. Sometimes Eckler a bit not getting the ball much. They don't run him. Maybe that, but I mean, it's a top heavy team. As my team, I can admit very top heavy. I don't think I'd put myself at #1. My 1 was Doug. I even said it during the draft. I thought Doug had a really well-rounded team.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe not a standout, but that's thinking of last year. This year, who knows? Maybe someone like Smith, maybe even Garrett Wilson now with, an actual quarterback could pop in.
Yeah.
Gibbs, the hype around, some of the rookie running back. is he as good? Will he put up what Jamal Williams? Because, I mean, Jamal Williams broke the Lions, I believe, single season rushing touchdown record last year.
It's crazy considering he started behind DeAndre Swift.
Exactly. So it's just like, if Jamar Gibbs or Jameer, however you say his name, can put up even close to what people are expecting out of him,
Yeah.
That's just an amazing team as well.
Yep, I completely agree. And putting up numbers, I mean, we we just got to get into it because guess what week it is? It's week 1. It is rivalry week here at the LIV Fantasy Football League. And I got to say, it's a banger of a week.
It really is. Ethan, I'm gonna start you out. You and Josh as well. Our boy Josh, about to go to work, still nice enough to
hang around, yeah.
Hang
here,
around.
Yeah, Josh.
I'm getting ready, but we're still.
Josh, nice enough
I
to
still
hang
hear
around.
you.
So, Josh, we're gonna start with you. We're gonna discuss some matchups. So week 1, we got me, Barb, versus Aaron. I'm currently about 4.3 point favorite right now. How
Do we
you
have a name for that rivalry?
We call it the Autism Bowl, the AB
Oh.
Bowl.
Nice.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
Who do you got, Josh?
I'm gonna have to go Barb. Those top 3 that he's got, they're probably gonna come out and start out, get him some points that Aaron just not gonna be able to make up.
Yep. I mean, who knows? Maybe the $8 from Justin Tucker pays off when he drops a 50 bomb. We'll see.
Hey, he hits 7 50-yard field goals.
And you got to think in this league, it's 0.1 points per yard on a field goal. So, I mean, a 57-yarder, that's 5.7. That adds up. Those extra 0.1 per yard could add up.
Could very well add up. Yeah, no, I mean, Aaron doesn't stand a chance. You saw my power rankings. It's just dead last versus top of the line. So there could be a massive upset this week. I don't see it. Odds that Barb's winning is minus 2,000. Odds Aaron's winning is like, I'd even put that at plus 1 million at this point. I'll give you much better odds for Aaron than there is for Barb. Yeah, that's where I'm at on the odds.
Now I'll say this, it's only about 4.3 points. Barb's receivers could easily let him down if someone like Eckler or McCaffrey or even Hurts just doesn't put up what they're expected. Maybe even one or even maybe 2 of them having off weeks, and at that point, 2 off weeks from 2 of those 3, Barb's maybe one of the bottom 3 teams in the league.
Could be.
Yeah, and
one of your receivers throws up a 0 spot, you could be in trouble.
That is true.
That would drop you in my rankings a lot. I haven't seen what your receivers can do, but we'll see.
And look, I'm going to pick myself. I'm going to have confidence in myself. We're going to move on though to the next matchup. It's the closest spread actually. We have Colin and Ethan. Colin's a 0.4 point favorite.
This is the banging brawl here, fellas.
Now, to be fair, that line has moved with Travis Kelce officially being out. Colin now
Who are you starting?
3-point favorite.
I don't even want it's starting guy in Tennessee.
Okonkwo. Ethan's starting Okonkwo.
I can't pronounce his name.
He said that guy.
I got to be biased this week. I need to win. I'm taking myself. Okay, you got to have a little bit of confidence in your team to win this game. I might do a pregame speech to them and hope that they come out swinging or catching, actually. I need them to catch a lot. So, Josh, who you got?
With the Kelce news, I'm gonna have to go with Colin. I know we can't start his 3 quarterbacks, but with Kelce out, that's gonna be a little too much for you to be able to make up, I think.
Yeah, I've got 3 of my top 3 players not playing this week. So,
and I expect the Jets in week 1 to be a split carry at running back. So
yeah, completely fair. All right, and now on to the next one. 2 of the outsiders to most of the group. We got John versus Adam. John, a 1.3 point favorite.
I personally like John in this match just because of how good his team is up front. You don't need your bench in week 1. You just don't. And that's why I think he has a stronger team. I think long run, Adam's team will probably end up being better, but as of week 1, I got John.
You know, I'm gonna go with this is the first time I'm gonna go with the upset. You know, I'm gonna go with Adam. I really like what Adam did. He proved me wrong with his way of researching for the draft and everything. And I'm gonna go and weirdly enough, I don't know why I have this gut feeling. This is gonna be my blowout of the week. I've got Adam winning by 10 plus.
So you think that Nick Chubb, Najee Harris, T. Higgins, Calvin Ridley, like that team is gonna outmatch Patrick Mahomes, Joe Mixon, John Connor, or
James
Conner.
I just have this weird feeling that weirdly enough,
Stephon Diggs, Jalen Waddle, that's all on John's team.
Right? I think John's gonna have a really good year, and I see John in the semifinals minimum in the playoffs. But I don't know. I'm feeling it. I don't know why. I feel John's gonna come out and not have a good week 1. I feel like everyone's gonna get a little low on John, and then his team's gonna skyrocket, maybe a 4-game win streak.
That's insane. Josh, any opinions on that?
Yeah, I really feel like John's gonna pull it off this week.
Yeah, plain and simple.
I feel like he's got the players. Then they're gonna come out and they're gonna perform week 1.
Who we got next?
We got a big matchup. We got Chase as a 0.7 point favorite over Doug. This is
not our game of the week, by the way. So
not game of the week, by the way. But it almost, you could argue it should be. But
this is like when
when
rivalry week in college football happens, right? You have to pick one game, even though there's multiple good ones.
Exactly, yeah.
And in this good game, based on my power rankings, this is 2 and 3 in my power rankings. These are basically Doug versus Goliath. If we're really going to talk about it. It's Doug versus Goliath. So, and that's because Chase is fat. That is the exact reason. And honestly, go ahead and give me. This is my blowout of the week. Give me Chase. I don't know if Doug's team is going to perform week 1, but onward and upward for Doug. Be quite honest, I think Chase pulls him out.
See, this is actually my closest game of the week, in my opinion, and I've got Doug sneaking it out. I think Doug's going to win by less than 1 point.
Really?
I almost think you should flip the line. I think Doug should be favored by a little under 1 point.
Josh, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I got Doug. I got to trust my power rankings in week 1.
That's fair. I think this game really. I think this is a potential, maybe even a Super Bowl look ahead, and this is a way to flop it on the table against someone that might be playing.
Yeah, potential championship matchup.
Potential championship. Now,
but it is week 1, so let's call it.
Now we do have the next one.
Game of the week.
Nope,
game of the week. Yet. No, we're not there yet.
Not there yet. We've got one more player. It's the biggest spread of the week. Josh, 11.2 point favorite over David without Cooper.
I'm taking Josh. Enough said. I don't need to say anything about it. Sure. Josh, you're taking yourself, right?
I got myself in week 1. Unless I throw up a couple of zeros or just a couple of really bad stinkers, I don't think David's going to be able to make up for Cooper Kupp not being in there.
Yeah, you hear that, David? Straight from Josh's mouth. You have no chance. Your team is booty cheeks.
I can't even find myself to say David covers. I'm going to pick David as my low scorer of the week.
You think under 100?
I think under 90. I think this is going to be a really bad week for David.
Yikes.
Honestly, with the news of Cooper Kupp potentially being out longer, there's rumors he could be put on the IR.
Keep in mind, I got my top 3 players out this week.
Yeah, I think the team's demotivated.
That's why I have you losing too.
Yeah, that's why I have you losing. But now, game of the week.
Game of the week.
Rivalry.
Game of the week.
These two go at each other's throats all the time, whether it's about real life, college football, and even fantasy football themselves.
This rivalry runs deep.
This rivalry does run deep. There is hatred. It is one of the nastiest rivalries. 2 commissioners of 2 different leagues as well, where they bitch about each other's job in the other's chats.
Not to mention 2 of the stupidest engineers known to man.
Another fair point. We've got 7th-year Matt, the boy in my background. And I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it. The man I'm picking to win their match.
No way. No way.
My background right there.
No way, dude.
Matt B. Joe, it's the game everyone's looking forward to. You know you're going to be on the couch watching these two players beside your own because you know what's to come from the winner to the loser.
You know, I got Joe low in my power rankings, but that's just because I hate him. But you know who I hate more this week?
Who?
Matt's fantasy football team. Give me Joe. Give me the upset of the week, and give it to me in historic fashion. Give me the Monday night game. Somebody goes down that's not supposed to, and Matt ends up losing because of it, even though he has more players available.
Oof.
Might be a little flashback,
lose somebody
but
week one.
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Matt is a 7.8 point favorite. And, we've got our guest picker, Josh. We're down the middle right now. Who we got?
Give me the Lee Corso action right now.
So, in order for me to determine the side of this, run down some of the players' matchups, some of the opposing teams that they're playing against this week, and we'll break it down a little bit further.
I got you. We got Josh Allen at the Jets Monday night. That's a tough game for him. We got Saquon Barkley Sunday Night Football, Dallas. Isaiah Pacheco, limited on snaps. They don't want to rush him back, according to the Chiefs. He's playing tonight. Kickoff game. We got Jamar Chase, 1:00 at Cleveland. We got Deontay Johnson. He's playing the Niners. That's a tough.
They're all playing good defenses.
Yeah. Kyle Pitts playing the Panthers, but he's Kyle Pitts. We got Adam Thielen playing the Falcons. We got Evan McPherson at Cleveland, and the Bills defense against a Jets offense, new and improved. Joe's team, Rodgers against the Bills. Henry against your boys in New Orleans. Kenneth Walker against the Rams. Devontae Adams against Denver. Debo, he's playing Pittsburgh. Njoku, Cam Akers, Harrison Butker, and the Cowboys.
I got Joe. He's got better matchups.
After looking at the matchups, I'm going to take Joe.
Let's go.
Those are some tough matchups. Now, week one is a crazy one, and my boy over there on Matt's team, Jamar Chase, week one he could come out. Him and Joey B could come out with some heat in week one that could really repel Matt's team. But the matchups, how close it is, I'm gonna have to go with Joe.
You heard it here first, folks.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Upset of the week in the game of the week. What a way to round off the podcast.
What a way to end it. Josh, thank you so much for being on the pod today.
First guest.
Hands up, you first guest. This has been the LIV Fantasy Football Podcast, episode 2. Y'all have a great day, because I know I'm going to have a great week.
Football
Shout out
back.
Auction Draft Travesty Squad. Peace out.